I've always been careful about where I live. Before I moved into that apartment, I checked the neighborhood, met the landlord, even looked up crime rates. It wasn't fancy, but it was clean and quiet. At least, that's what I thought when I first moved in. The first few weeks were normal, the kind of quiet you almost start to love. No loud neighbors, no parties, just the sound of my fridge humming and the occasional footsteps in the hallway. I felt safe. That sense of safety didn't last long. It started with small things. I'd notice a mug in a different place than I remembered leaving it. A blanket slightly folded when I was sure I had left it crumpled on the couch. Little details that could have easily been my own forgetfulness. That's what I told myself anyway. Everyone misremembers small things sometimes, right? Then, about a month in, I came home from work and something felt off. I couldn't pinpoint it at first. It was just a feeling, like the air in the room was wrong. I walked into the kitchen, and that's when I realized what it was. My cupboard door was open, not wide open, just cracked. And inside, my sugar jar was sitting on the counter. I never leave it there. Still, I convinced myself maybe I had been half asleep that morning and didn't notice. It was easier than believing someone else had been in my home. Over the next few days, that uneasy feeling grew. Sometimes I'd come home and swear I smelled cigarette smoke, even though I don't smoke, and no one in my building did either. Other times, it was the sound of faint creaking at night, as if someone had stepped on the old floorboard by the window. I'd freeze, listening, but it would stop the moment I turned off the TV or held my breath. My friends told me I was probably just anxious, that living alone can make you paranoid. I wanted to believe that. Then one evening I came home later than usual, maybe around 9:30 p.m. When I opened the door, my cat didn't come running like she always did. Instead, she was hiding under the bed, hissing. I felt my stomach twist. I checked the apartment room by room, kitchen, bathroom, closet. Nothing. No signs of forced entry, no broken locks. I even convinced myself maybe she just got scared by a noise outside. But deep down, I knew that wasn't it. The next morning, I decided to install a cheap little camera above my kitchen counter. It was motion activated, something I bought online for like $20. Honestly, I didn't expect it to catch anything. I just wanted peace of mind. I turned it on before I left for work and tried not to think about it. That night, when I came home, everything looked fine. No moved objects, no weird smells. I almost laughed at myself for being so paranoid. But before bed, I opened the camera app on my phone just to check, and that's when my blood ran cold. Around 2:47 p.m. while I was at work, the kitchen light turned on. The camera had picked up motion. A man, tall, wearing a dark hoodie, stepped into the frame. He moved slowly, like he knew exactly where everything was. He walked to the counter, opened my fridge, took out a drink, and sat down at my table. Just sat there for almost 20 minutes. Then he disappeared down the hall, toward my bedroom. The footage ended there. I don't even remember breathing while I watched it. I just sat frozen, replaying it again and again, hoping somehow I was seeing it wrong. The next morning I called the police. They came, checked the locks, and found nothing broken. No fingerprints, no forced entry. They told me maybe the video was old, or that the man could have had a spare key from a previous tenant. That idea made my skin crawl. The thought that someone might have had access to my apartment this entire time. The landlord claimed he didn't know anything, said all the locks had been replaced last year. Still, I demanded a new one immediately. He changed it that afternoon, but I couldn't shake the thought. What if he already had another copy? That night, I didn't sleep. Every little sound made my heart jump. The next day, I set up 2 more cameras, one in the living room, one facing my front door. For 3 days, nothing happened. No movement, no strange sounds, nothing on the recordings. I started to think maybe he realized I knew. Maybe he'd moved on. Then, on the fourth night, I woke up to the sound of my door handle turning. Just a single, quiet click. I didn't move, didn't breathe. I just stared at my bedroom door, watching the faint sliver of light beneath it. It stayed still for maybe a minute. Then slowly, the handle released. Soft footsteps retreated down the hall. And the next morning, the living room camera showed only one thing: my front door opening slightly, just an inch, before closing again. Whoever it was, they still had a way in. That was the last night I stayed there. The police couldn't do much without a clear identity, and the landlord swore he didn't know who it could be. I packed what I could fit into my car and left before sunset. I never went back for the rest. Sometimes I wonder how long it had been happening before I noticed. How many times he'd come in, how many nights he'd stood just outside my bedroom door, watching. I'll never know for sure.